Welcome to the Newshour. I'm Madhavdas GK. Ladies and gentlemen, Justice Abdul Nazeer's appointment as the Governor of Andhra Pradesh has ignited a massive storm. The ecosystem has come full guns blazing at the centre, accusing it of rewarding the ex-judge with a post-retirement appointment for the ruling in the Ayodhya Mandir case. The opposition has claimed that Justice Nazeer's appointment is a great threat to the independence of the judiciary. Today, Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju has lashed out at the ecosystem and reminded it that it should stop treating India as its personal fiefdom. Now, Kiran Rijiju has said that the ecosystem must know that India will be guided by the people of India as per the constitution. However, the opposition has not relented and it has continued to target the centre and Justice Nazeer over his appointment. Listen in.
मैं समझता हूं कि पहले बात तो ये कि कन्वेंशन होनी चाहिए अगर सब भी पार्टीज का इस बात के ऊपर राजीमंदी हो जाए ऐसी बातों को से छुटकारा पाने के लिए एक कानून ही बना देना चाहिए कि पोस्ट रिटायरमेंट जॉब पहले 2 साल में नहीं मिल सकती।
जस्टिस नज़ीर साहब को राज्यपाल बना दिया गया। अब सोशल मीडिया पे और बाकी जगह पे चल रहा है कि उनको उनके 2 फैसलों के लिए एक बाबरी मस्जिद पे जो फैसला आया उसके लिए और दूसरा जो नोटबंदी पे उन्होंने क्लियरेंस और क्लीन चिट दी है उसके लिए।
It is quite unfortunate that those who are holding constitutional post after their retirement like governors, it is absolutely they are creating a bad precedent in the country. It is not fair at all. This will definitely affect the credibility of the judiciary. Even all the judgments pronounced by Justice Abdul Nazeer is also in question, including the Babari Masjid judgment.
कांग्रेस पार्टी के समय भी कई नियुक्तियां इस प्रकार की होती रही हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के द्वारा नियुक्त किए गए ये जजेस उसी परंपरा का हिस्सा है। हम इसको ठीक नहीं ठहराते।
Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has even dug out an old video of late BJP leader Arun Jaitley in which he could be heard saying that pre-retirement judgments can be influenced by post-retirement appointments. Listen in.
Pre-retirement judgments are influenced by the desire of a post-retirement job.
Now, even as questions are being raised on the judge's integrity, what's important here is the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, who was also part of the Ayodhya bench, had to say on Justice Nazeer's last working day, he commended him for his dedication and said that Justice Nazeer always stood for what is right. Justice Nazeer often even ruled against the position of the central government on several cases, and so the BJP is now asking the opposition as to why it would question the credibility of Justice Nazeer. Listen in.
कांग्रेस को राम जन्मभूमि से कब से प्यार हो गया? अभी अगर मंत्रिपरिषद में कोई मुसलमान नहीं है तो प्रश्न उठाएंगे कि मंत्रिपरिषद में कोई मुसलमान नहीं। हमने राज्यपाल बनाया तो हम अच्छे लोगों को चुन करके बनाते हैं जो मुझे अच्छा लगता है। इसमें लोगों को एतराज किया।
आप चुनाव आयोग के ऊपर क्वेश्चन करते हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऊपर क्वेश्चन करते हैं, हाई कोर्ट के ऊपर क्वेश्चन करते हैं कि चुनाव आयोग के जो मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त थे, आपको पता हो कि MS गिल, उसको कांग्रेस पार्टी ने अपना संसद सदस्य बनाया, उसको मंत्री बनाया और आज आप समझिए कहेंगे कि ये चुनाव आयोग इनसे मिला हुआ है। तो कांग्रेस पार्टी को किसी संवैधानिक संस्था पर जो है बिलीव नहीं है।
पर मैं उनसे पूछना चाहता हूं, प्रश्न उठाने वालों से, कौन सा नियम तोड़ा गया बता तो दें। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ही राज था, किसने हर वर्ग को मौका दिया। बताएं तो सही कि नाजीर साहब की क्वालिफिकेशन कम है कि विरोध के लिए विरोध कर रहे हैं, केवल राजनीतिक रोटियां मत सेकें।
That brings us to the legitimate question that we're asking this evening. Who's undermining the Constitution?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining us for more, we have with us Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Tushar Gupta is a senior editor with Swaraj. Deshradhan Nigam is a lawyer joining us on our broadcast. With us here in the studio is Vivek Silas, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Lokesh Jindal is the leader of the Congress Party. And Asif Sohail is a political analyst joining us on the broadcast. Let me start with you, Vivek Silas. And direct question to you is this. Now, The charge of the law minister is that this is a sense of entitlement that is, asking these questions because they think that's my way or the highway. That is the kind of approach of opposition, and that constitution is in supreme. You've also seen what the Chief Justice, the current Chief Justice himself has said. And if there are judgments that Justice Abdul Nazeer has given, which have gone against the government in the past as well, along with judgments that may have gone with the government or against the government, both are there. In such a situation, why are we questioning the judge?
Actually, as far as the Bharatiya, I'd like to start with the Bharatiya Janata Party, because Bharatiya Janata Party actually is contradicting its own stalwart leaders. As we just saw that what late Arun Jaitley ji said. He said pre-retirement judgment could lead to post-retirement benefits. And second thing I would like to remind you and the viewers that what Mr. Nitin Gadkari said, he's also a stalwart leader. He has been the president of the national president of the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. He said there should be at least 2 years of cooling off period. Otherwise, the government could influence judgment. That is what he said. It's a very serious, very serious thing. I think Bharatiya Janata Party should, at least give it a thought what their stalwart said. But it is nothing very unusual for the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's very usual. Bureaucrats take the VRS and they get the ticket. Even the retired DGPs are invited into the Rajya Sabha. But the need of the hour is something like unemployment. What is happening in Dehradun? If we see a small little girl or the girls are being thrashed by the Uttarakhand police, and that also by the male police. The atrocities on the girls, we can see it's seen every day on the TV. Drooping rupee, we see how in the same...
Very important issues. I cannot deny that these are very important issues. But let's just get into the debate, because I want to get it, because there are a number of points that I have to cover this evening. And let me get in a response from the BJP to the questions that you raised. 2 direct questions, Sanju Verma. Isn't this contradictory to what the late Arun Jaitley has said, somebody who's a stalwart of the legal profession before he entered politics full-time? And also, of course, he is saying that the BJP's inherent contradictions are quite clearly visible with this position as far as Justice Nazeer's appointment is concerned. Please respond.
Yeah. Madhav, I'm glad there I durust hai. At least today, whatever be the pretext, the opposition has taken time to remember the late Arun Jaitley, who was in a league of his own. By the way, he was also against the system where judges appoint themselves and are the judge, the jury and the executioner. So I hope you will remember Arun Jaitley when the collegium system is questioned. Now coming to the topic of the debate. The topic of the debate is whether, there has been some kind of a violation of rules with the appointment of Justice Nazeer as the Governor of Andhra Pradesh. So first and foremost, the Constitution Article 124(7), Madhav, very clearly says that a retired judge of the High Court or a retired judge of the Supreme Court cannot be reappointed within the judiciary, but there is nothing that stops a retired judge of the High Court or Supreme Court from being appointed as a member of the parliament, say in the Rajya Sabha, a member of the National Human Rights Commission, or for instance, being appointed in the role of a governor, or even being appointed in the role of president. This is Article 124(7). So point number 1, constitutionally, there is nothing wrong in Justice Nazeer's appointment as the Andhra Pradesh governor. Point number 2, assuming something is wrong, assuming that what the opposition is saying is right, that, there should have been a cool-off period. I just want to remind them that, Justice Ranganath Mishra was made the Chief Justice in 1990. He was then appointed the National Human Rights Commission Chairman in 1993. And in 1998, he was appointed as a member of the Rajya Sabha by the erstwhile Congress dispensation. So much for waxing eloquent about violation of norms. And not only Justice Ranganath Mishra, there is also Justice Baharul Islam, who was given a Rajya Sabha position after his retirement. He served as a judge both in the High Court and in the Supreme Court at some point in time. And very recently, I have tweeted about this, and this tweet has gone viral on social media, that as recently as June 2018, Justice Abhay Thikse, yes, the very same Justice Abhay Thikse, who said that the Mumbai 2611 terror attack was not carried out by Pakistan or Lashkar-e-Toiba, but it was carried out by Hindu radicals. And do you know something? Within a month of Abhay Thipse's retirement, he was a judge at the Allahabad High Court and also at one point a judge of the Bombay High Court. Within a month of his retirement, with a lot of fanfare, in the presence of Rahul Gandhi, he was inducted into the Congress, and this is the same person, Abhay Thipse, who actually went to the UK to stand in solidarity with Nirav Modi, saying Nirav Modi ne to koi ghotala
Let's stick to appointments though. Let's stick to appointments. Let's stick to post-retirement appointments. But you've given two very important examples that Lokesh Jindal must answer. Lokesh Jindal, these are two very specific examples that were cited over here by Sanju Verma of individuals who were appointed as members of parliament. Is that not wrong then? And if that is indeed the history and the precedent, then on what basis is the Congress then raising questions today?
Good evening, Madhav. In fact, when we are talking about appointments, let us remind the government that since 2019, out of 4, 2 Lokpal posts are lying vacant. Now, these are those posts where a Supreme Court retired judge is eligible. Why is it that there is so much of haste to fill in the post of a Rajyapal rather than Lokpal? Now, if the government was sincere enough, it should have first filled the Lokpal posts. Secondly, now with the government giving the post of a governor to a retired Supreme Court judge, now it is not going to offer every Supreme Court judge the post of a governor. Only a selected favorite Supreme Court judge has been offered that post. Now, if in a common parlance, after winning election, freebies are to be considered as revenues, don't you think there is a common logic that after a favorable judgment, a given constitutional post is to be considered as a prasad? Now this erodes the faith.
No, but he has also given judgments. That's the point.
Man.
That's the point I made in the beginning, sir. You're absolutely right. He may have given some favorable judgments, but he has also given judgments against the government. I hope you are aware of the judgments of triple talaq, the right to privacy case, the 2018, Ayodhya case, which is not the main case, but on the issue of mosque being integral to Islam. He had a very different and opposing position, Lokesh Jindal, to what the central government had.
He was also one of the judges in the demonetization case.
Absolutely, demonetization and even Ram Mandir. But my point is this, can you just box a man as somebody who has always given judgments favoring the government? Aren't you doing a disservice to the judge by raising such questions?
Are you going to offer every retiring judge the post of a governor? Yes or no?
I need to answer that.
No. I mean, when I'm talking about a post like the chairman of NHRC or a person for Lokpal, these are some of the posts where only a retired Supreme Court judge is eligible. So these were the posts, if at all they are offered to a Supreme Court judge, we will say that, okay, fine, it is there. But already posts are there where a retired Supreme Court judge can fill. Already posts are there which are lying vacant. What is this haste for making somebody a governor?
Respond to that. Okay.
Please answer this.
Okay, respond to that. Why not Lokpal and other posts that are vacant? Sanju Verma, why only the governor's post?
Madhav, I'm appalled and actually I'm amused that, the Congress seems to have forgotten it is not in power. The Sattadhari party is the BJP and it is the Constitution, right from Article 153 to Article 167. These articles lay down the procedure under which governors can be appointed and the norms under which even retired judges can be appointed as governors. Please read Article 153, 154, right up to Article 167. Educate yourself. The debate is today on whether the government violated any norm by appointing Justice Nazeer. I am clearly telling you under Article 124(7), the government has the right to appoint a retired Supreme Court judge as the governor of a particular state. Tell me, are you against Article 124(7)?
Since 2019.
Justice Nazeer gave an anti-so-called government verdict when he said the right to privacy is a fundamental right. At that time, you were clapping for Justice Nazeer. So
Madam,
today, why do you have पेट में दर्द क्यों हो रहा है? When Justice Nazeer said right to privacy is a fundamental right, The entire ecosystem said, oh my God, Justice Nazeer has done a brilliant job by giving out this word.
All right, let me come in now. It's very hard to understand when two people are shouting over each other, and there are others who've been waiting very patiently. Let me go across to Deshratan Nigam. Deshratan Nigam, sarfaraz Wani also joining us on our panel. Deshratan Nigam, simple question is this. And this was cited by a previous speaker, where he said that it is Nitin Gadkari who said that there should be a cooling off period. And if that is indeed a concern that has been expressed by somebody who's a senior union minister, then isn't that a valid concern? Because as we all know that he retired in January and he gets the post over the weekend. This is raising questions in terms of the immediacy of the appointment, similar to what had happened in the case of Justice Sadashivam and several others who were appointed as governors.
Madhav, in fact, if you look at the current position of law and constitution, as pointed out by Sanju, there is nothing that bars the appointment. Now, when Nitin Gadkari or Arun Jaitley makes a statement, this is an opinion based on change of law that should happen, not on the basis of the existing law. Now, when the existing law does not bar anybody from becoming the governor, nobody can, deprive a person because of the right to equality.
The questions of propriety, sir. The questions of propriety and perceptions. That's, I think, where the debate's at. Nobody is even for a moment saying there's anything illegal in this, but it is about propriety. Because at the end of the day, justice is about justice being seen to be done, also along with justice being done.
Madhav, under the existing system of constitution or law, both morality and ethics are inbuilt in the constitution. And even propriety is also inbuilt in constitution. They cannot be separated, because once a law is passed, every aspect is discussed in parliament, even in the constituent assembly. Ethics, morality, propriety, everything was discussed while framing the constitution. Therefore, to say that it is not with propriety, I don't agree with it. And let me also tell you, all these appointments are executive appointments, not political appointments. Otherwise, right from 1950 onwards, all appointments will become political. So these are the powers given to the executive under the constitution, which they are exercising. Under the right to equality, please let me tell you, you cannot debar a person from becoming a governor. Now, if I say I will not appoint the governor, appoint the judge of a Supreme Court as a governor, you will be violating the right to equality, because he also has an equal right as compared to another politician or a bureaucrat or the retired army officer. So
just some statistics.
Debar a person from
very important point you've made there, and let me just bring in Asif Sohail on that. Asif Sohail, you will be going against the right to equality if you tomorrow say that judges cannot be appointed as governors. I think that's an important point being raised, because there is a precedent, sir, and the precedent of Justice Fatima Biwi, who was appointed as Tamil Nadu governor in 97, Justice S.S. Kang in Kerala in 97 as well, and also Justice Syed Fazl Ali in Odisha in 1952. From Mr. I.K. Gujral, who was PM, to Devagowda, who was PM, and even Jawaharlal Nehru, who was PM, when these respective judges were appointed as governors, were they all also wrong, sir?
Sir, as a common man, it's very alarming for us. It's a question on the judiciary. Let's not go into that, what Congress has done, what BJP is doing. बट एज एक आम आदमी, एक इंसान की तरफ से मेरी ये सोच है कि जो बाबरी मस्जिद के वर्डिक्ट में इन्वॉल्व है और नोटबंदी के अंदर है, उन्हें एक जो सो गवर्नर की पोस्ट दिए जा रही है, एक को राज्यसभा दिए जा रहा है। इसका क्या मतलब है? इट्स ए क्लियरली आपको जो सो ये पोस्ट रिटायरमेंट आपको बेनिफिट्स क्लियर बता जा रहे हैं आम आदमी की नजर से। सी आई एम नॉट किसी के ऊपर बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं, आई एम नॉट क्वेश्चनिंग व्हाट एज ए कॉमन मैन व्हाट आई फील कि ये गलत है। ये अगर ऐसा है तो देखिए, आप कोई बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट में है, उसे आप मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट बना दे रहे हैं, आप ये किसी के केसेस में इन्वॉल्व है उन्हें गवर्नर दे रहे हैं, आप पे सेक्सुअल मॉलेस्टेशन केसेस है वो विड्रॉ हो जा रहे हैं। इसका मतलब क्या है फिर? Where is the judiciary? It's the highest prestigious post. सर ये सुनिए आप, एक रेस्पेक्टेबल पोस्ट है ये, इसके ऊपर इसको मजाक बनाकर रखा गया है। तो मैं आई स्ट्रांगली कंडेम व्हाट इज बीन प्रैक्टिस्ड।
आसिफ सोहेल जी, there is a world of difference between a convict and a Supreme Court justice, sir. दोनों को please आज compare मत करिए. I think people of this country are also smart enough they know. I don't think it's a fair comparison. I mean, you can say whatever you want and you can criticize the government, but let's be fair in what we are comparing. You have to compare apples and apples. You can't compare apples and oranges.
मैं अपनी एक आम आदमी की तरह अपनी ये सोच रख रहा हूं।
बिल्कुल रखिए सर, आपको अभिव्यक्ति की पूरी आजादी है, लेकिन यू हैव टू कंपेयर लाइक विद लाइक।
फेवर में जो ऑर्डर देगा, नहीं सर, 100
सर ट्रिपल तलाक ऑर्डर क्या था?
भावनाओं से खेलने,
ट्रिपल तलाक, राइट टू प्राइवेसी, अयोध्या 2018 केस,
इट वाज अ वेरी सीरियस थिंग। सुनिए, 130 लोग परेशान हुए नोटबंदी में।
We'll come to you. Let me ask some questions also, Sanju Verma. Please, I'm responding to him.
परेशान हुआ एक सर, let me finish up. Let me finish it, sir.
No, he's questioning the
130 करोड़ लोग नोटबंदी में परेशान हुए, कई लोग मर गए। वैसे केस को
Why is he questioning the Ayodhya verdict?
आप बीच में बात करने से आपका झूठ सही नहीं हो सकता है।
हमें भाषण मत दीजिए। अयोध्या वर्डिक्ट, उसका जो जवाब आपको मिल चुका है, न्यायपालिका ने जवाब दे दिया है।
मैडम, मैं मैडम नागपुर के स्टूडेंट्स को मैं यहाँ पे नहीं पढ़ाता हूँ, आप जाके आप लोग नागपुर में ही पढ़िए। देखिए,
okay, let me come in now. No, I don't want to sidestep the serious debate that we're having as far as judiciary is concerned. And Tushar Gupta, let me bring you into this particular debate. One minute. Tushar Gupta, the question that is being asked over here, there are multiple questions being asked as to this particular case. He says that all the judges related to that particular case, or at least many of them, in any event, have been appointed to the NCLT, to the Raj Sabha, in this case a governor. So the allegation coming in from Asif Sohail is that there is some kind of alleged quid pro quo. Nobody's used those exact words, but that seems to be words such as reward have been used by various opposition leaders. So how do you explain this? Or how would you answer that question that is being raised by opposition leaders? Tushar Gupta.
Madhav, when it has come to this debate, people are being overly dramatic, but they're not being objective. Let's look at the profile of Justice Nazeer. He sat on more than 450 benches. He was involved in more than 90 judgments. Are all the 90 judgments being scrutinized? Absolutely not. They are holding on to that one judgment and one judgment alone. So this is not about the credibility of Justice Nazeer, it is more about the judgment pertaining to the Ram Mandir. Now, for a long period of time, the opposition has wanted to raise a huge question mark, to create a perception that somehow the verdict that came out on Ram Mandir, that was purely based on facts, investigations worth years, that is somehow wrong. That somehow favors one community. They don't want to go into the history of it. They don't want to go into the archaeological evidence. They just want to create a perception that the judgment that was given was somehow unfavorable to one minority community. That's the perception they're trying to create. And the elevation of Justice Nazeer as the Governor of Andhra Pradesh gives them that opportunity. My question is, if they were actually concerned about a quid pro quo, about the trust in the system, someone in the Samajwadi or someone in the Congress would have come up with a draft bill saying, this is what we want to do. This is why we need a cooling off period. They would have debated that in the parliament. Has something like that happened? Absolutely not. Have they scrutinized the other 90 odd judgments Justice Nazeer was a part of? Absolutely not. Are they talking about the judgments that were given in opposition to the government by Justice Nazeer? Absolutely not. So Madhav, at the end of the day, it's very clear that they do not want to attack the judge. They do not want to attack the judiciary. What they want to attack is a factual judgment on the Ram Mandir.
All right. Let me bring in
a way of them to, level their grudge or something.
Okay, let me bring in Sarfaraz Wani now, who's been waiting very patiently as well. Sarfaraz Wani, it is not a constructive criticism that is happening. In a nutshell, that is what Tushar is saying, because there are no real solutions that are being proposed. Is there a bill, is there a draft, is there a private member's bill, a demand for a discussion in parliament on the judge's cooling off period and changing the law? None of that has happened, says Tushar. Please respond to him.
See, I will say, for God's sake, accept the political post. I'm not against judges being reappointed to some other assignments. a judge of a Supreme Court can be appointed to commissions, can be appointed to any other forums, but a judge of Supreme Court accepting a political post looks like the pre-retirement judgments are influenced by the post-retirement benefits which the judge is about to get. And that also when a judge has handled sensitive cases like Ayodhya, demonetization, and he has been a member of Collegium of Supreme Court.
So that should disqualify? So that should disqualify every judge? According to you, that should disqualify every judge, sir?
A judge of a Supreme Court taking up a governor's post. Last time we saw Chief Justice taking a Rajya Sabha member's seat. This is unfortunate that a judge of a Supreme Court, he has a status, he has, I think everybody is subordinate to him.
Allow me to answer.
What about, yeah, I'm coming. Many hands going up, but what about Fatima Bibi, sir? What about SS Khan? What about Saeed Fazl Ali? All these were judges who were appointed as governors by previous governments. So there is a precedent of this happening before.
Let me complete. This government has created an impression that all those people in the judiciary, be it a Supreme Court judge or a High Court judge, who takes up their line, gets appointed. I will give you an example of Justice Akil Kuraichi. He was the senior most judge who was to be elevated to the Supreme Court. And he was not elevated. His file was 3 times sent back for reconsideration to the Supreme Court Collegium. Why? Because he had given a verdict against the Home Minister Amit Shah.
Okay.
This is really unfortunate that
direct question
has a perception.
Or politics being played. Politics being played with the judiciary is the allegation. Okay, you made your point, sir. Now let's get a response. So there are multiple hands going up on this. I'm going to give Deshradhar Nigam a chance to respond, and then I'm coming to you, Sanjay Verma. Deshradhar Nigam.
Madhav, in fact, none of the post of governor is a political post. He is under the constitution. If you look at the Constituent Assembly debate, he is considered as a friend, philosopher and a guide to the state government, like the president at the central level. So you cannot mix the two. He is not at all political. He is upholding the constitution. His only job is to uphold the constitution at the state level. Yes, politicians do get appointed, but once they get appointed, they have to follow the constitution. And therefore, there is no bar for any judge to get appointed. And certainly, our system is run by rule of law, based on statutes, rules, regulations, and the constitution. And therefore, I say, under the existing system, there is no law barring such an appointment. Therefore, what people are talking about, perception and what should be. And therefore, till a law is enacted, yes, some people are raising a very valid point. But till a law is enacted on those very issues, you cannot debar anybody. Let there be a law, let there be a cooling period, let Parliament decide about what should be the mode of appointment, let the amendment in the Constitution come. But for that, opposition has to bring some kind of a bill or a discussion or a zero-hour issue in the Parliament, because it's the only legislative body that can do the necessary changes in the Constitution.
Okay.
So here it is perception which is speaking.
Yes, it's perception, certainly, but then perceptions are important. We've heard several times, even in Parliament, leaders make statements such as Caesar's wife should be above suspicion, etc. All of these have happened many times in issues related to propriety. But having taken your point, let me take that across, in fact, Vivek Silas. Vivek Silas, the questions that are being raised over here are very serious. Because if opposition leaders and parties are raising a serious issue, which they say is based on principle, then why not follow it up with some actual work on ground, like for instance in Parliament, demanding a debate, bringing in a law. All of this is within the realm of possibility, is it not?
Yeah, definitely something has to be done about it. But I would like to say that 2 wrongs doesn't make it right. If the Congress party has done mistakes in the past, the Bharatiya Janata Party...
You concede their mistakes?
Yeah.
You concede their mistakes? Appointment of Fatima Bibi was wrong.
Yes.
Justice SS Kang was wrong. Justice Saeed Fazl Ali was wrong. The Prime Ministers there, Nehru to IK Gujral to Devagowda, were all wrong?
No, I can just say that as the other panelists said, if something can be manipulated with the judges, they have
now
to be
you're prevaricating.
You
said it's wrong, and now you say something can be
manipulated. There has to be a law.
Vivek Silas, you took a stand. You took a stand a minute ago, and now you're going back on that stand.
No.
Either they are right or they are wrong, sir. What do you believe?
Appointing any governor, like Mr. Koshyari, what he said, one of the panelists said, Mr. Nigam said, governor is not a political person, but governor becomes political. We saw in the case of Mr. Koshyari.
It's a constitutional post. It's a constitutional post that has a political importance in times of crisis, but it is not a political appointment. Because the problem then, sir, and Asif Sohail, I'm coming to you as well. The problem then is. Mr. Sohail, I'm coming. Please calm down. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to all of you one by one. The problem then is this, Vivek Silas, that if there are politicians appointed as governors, then that gets criticized. If there are preeminent citizens, members of society who are appointed, or a bureaucrat, that is also criticized. But if a judge or some other prominent member is appointed, then even that becomes a problem. So aren't there double standards also that are being raised time and again by various political parties?
Any governor that has been appointed by the central government for personal benefit or the benefits of the government.
Who's going to judge that?
There has to be a law. There has to be a law that has to be implemented in the parliament.
What is this personal benefit, sir?
Otherwise, governors will, the central government or the party that are into who are ruling the country may take advantage, and they have been taking advantage in the past.
Okay. Sanju Verma. There needs to be a law. We are in support of it. The Samajwadi Party at least supports such a law.
Madhav, there have been a lot of reckless allegations at the BJP-led central government. Somebody mentioned Sohrabuddin and Amit Shah. So it is, incumbent upon me to educate the panelists who did that. This was in December 2018, while giving a clean chit to the current Home Minister Amit Shah. Special Judge Justice S.J. Sharma said that the then investigating agency used a premeditated theory. Madhav, this is not fair.
Let her make a point. Make your point. Sarfaraz, I'll come to you. You've asked a question, sir. At least listen to the response, and then you can interject if you want.
When will they appoint him?
Sir, one second. I'm going to lower faders of anybody who interrupts another panelist now, because we have very limited time left on this debate. Complete your point very quickly. Yeah.
Yes. No, I cannot complete it quickly because there have been reckless allegations. You made a reckless allegation at the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Now have the audacity to digest the truth coming your way. Special Judge in December 2018. So before you open your mouth and question the Sohrabuddin judgment in which Amit Shah was given a clean chit, I challenge you, if you make reckless allegations, we will drag you to the court. Mind that. Point number one. Point number two. Again and again, people have been saying that, Justice Nazeer gave a favorable judgment to the government in the demonetization case. Who were the judges in the demonetization case? It was Justice B.R. Gawai, Justice Abdul Nazeer, Justice Bopana, and Justice V. Ramasubramaniam, and of course, Justice Nagaratna, who was the dissenting judge. Please understand, it was a majority verdict, 4:1. Again, in the Ram Janmabhoomi verdict, it was a unanimous verdict. It was not just a majority verdict. All the judges, Justice Ashok Bhushan, Justice S.A. Bobde, Chief Justice then Ranjan Gogoi, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the current Chief Justice, and Justice Abdul Nazeer, they all said that yes, Ram Lalla ka mandir wahan banega on the disputed site which was claimed by the other party. So please tell me, when there is a unanimous verdict in the Ayodhya case, when there is a majority verdict in the demonetization case, how dare you sit here and give a bhashan to the BJP that it is violating constitutional principles?
Okay. Sarfaraz, one quick response.
Appointed. So first I will tell this lady, when is that judge being now appointed as the governor? Because he gave a verdict against your minister. I know. You will appoint him also. That's how you.
Okay, let's not reduce
people.
Number
second, Madhav, you said there are political persons and there are bureaucrats being appointed and there are judges being appointed. No, there is a difference. A political person or a bureaucrat can toe the government line, but a judge has to hear the cases against the government on a daily basis. He hears petitions in the Supreme Court and the High Court. So there is a difference between a judge being appointed and a bureaucrat and a political person being appointed. They can be appointed, that there is nothing wrong in it. But when a judge is being appointed, there are lots of questions because there are lots of judgments which people will question.
So why don't you file a PIL in Supreme Court, sir, being a lawyer, why didn't you seek a change in law? Why didn't you seek a judgment from the court to amend the law or pass a judgment? Because the problem is, in the past also, we have seen petitions before the Supreme Court in 2014 on the issue, one second, Sarfaraz Wani, on the issue of fixing a cooling off period. The Supreme Court refused to fix a cooling off period for judges to take up government appointments. So that's the position that we have seen in the past coming in from the courts. So it's a very complex issue. It's not, there are no easy answers.
Exactly. I think this all needs a legislative intervention, because this is something which has to come from the parliament itself, because it is not a job of the court to make the law. I know courts will not interfere in it, because at the end of the day, the judges are being benefited. So I think something at the level of the parliament has to come, and this cooling off period has to be kept, and at least the judges of Supreme Court and High Court should be barred from political appointments.
Okay, Deshantan Nigam, is it really different? Is it really different when you appoint politicians or bureaucrats to the post of governor or those of judges? Because Sarfaraz Wani at least believes that there's a world of difference between those appointments.
Madhav, in fact, today the role of governors had come into question in the courts quite often. And therefore, if a judge is being appointed, we would certainly have the benefit of legal jurisprudence on the role of governors. And that would be a very good thing for Indian polity and federalism that we talk about, and the cooperative federalism that we have between the center and the states. And therefore, appointment of judges or the prominent lawyers for that matter is very, very important. And it's the same thing. You know, politician, bureaucrat, they all have the right to the post of the governor. So you cannot isolate a particular section from the society and to say that, no, that person cannot be. And especially, you know, as pointed out by Sanju Verma, that all those judgments, even the Lady Judge Nagratna, who passed the judgment, said the demonetization is good, except the process, she wanted a different process to be followed. Right. So just to create some kind of a controversy, I don't think people need to have an educated debate about it. Yes, tomorrow if the law is changed, I would welcome it. But under the existing law, under the provisions of the Constitution, I think all these people are within the zone of consideration to be appointed.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Tushar Gupta, Deshantan Nigam, Vivek Silas and Asif Sohail, I'd like to thank you, because Sanju Verma, Lokesh Jindal and Sarfaraz Wani stay with us for debate number 2.